portion of the test. Now, there are about 20 to 25 questions. Now, it will measure your ability to understand what you read, identify main ideas, and make educated guesses like inferences. Now, there's going to be about 2 to 4 sentences per question for every single question, and we'll see exactly how that will work. Now, there'll be two types generally: reading for understanding, and these will be your paragraphs, and then you'll look at the paragraph and then you'll make a decision, and then sentence relationships. So for reading for understanding, these questions consist of reading a passage followed by a question based on the text. You may be asked to identify explicit statements related to the main idea. What is this about? What is the main idea of this paragraph is what they'll be asking you. Or explicit statements related to a secondary idea. What's kind of something that's in the periphery? What is related to this, but it's not the focus? What is related to this? And then an application or an inference. Now remember, an inference is an educated guess. So someone could walk outside of the store and you're like, whoa, that outfit looks great. If you are part of Nerd Weekly, now that outfit looks great, period, is, an inference. It sounds good, but it's really negative based on the second part, if you walked out of Nerd Weekly. So that's an inference question, an educated guess. So let's walk through a few application questions based on this. So for the first type of question, you'll get this: read the statement or passage and then choose the best answer to the question. Answer the question based on what is stated or implied in the statement or passage. Here's the question. In the words of Thomas What's-His-Face, it is notorious that the memory strengthens as you lay burdens upon it. If, like most people, you have trouble recalling the names of those you have just met, try this. The next time you are introduced, plan to remember the names. Say to yourself, I'll listen carefully. I'll repeat each person's name to be sure I've got it, and I will remember. You'll discover how effective this technique is, and will probably recall those names for the rest of your life. Yay! Okay, the main idea of this passage maintains that memory, A, always operates at peak efficiency, B, breaks down under great strain, C, improves if it is often used, or D, becomes reliable if it tries, becomes unreliable if it tries. Now, I'm going to try to use my handy dandy pen. Ooh, look at that. Okay, so what is this really about? The main idea. So we know that this is going to be a main idea question. I'm going to try something else. Let's try purple, or whatever that color is. And let's do my highlighter. Okay, what is the main idea of what is going on here? So, I think it's this. You'll discover how effective this technique is, and will probably recall it for the rest of your life. And also, you can also look at this. Memory strengthens. I think that's a key part of this. And see how, like, I'm marking the text, or how I might write something down on my piece of paper. Now, let's look at this. Always operates at peak efficiency. Is that the main idea of this? Always operates at peak efficiency. Well, they're talking about not remembering, about forgetting. So no, I don't think it's that one. Breaks down under great strain. Well, remembering names isn't great strain, so I don't think it's that one. Improves if it is often used, or used often. That one seemed pretty good. Becomes unreliable if it tries. No, it says if you say to yourself, I'll remember, you'll remember. So I don't think it's that. So I think it's C. So let's test here. So the answer is C, and like I said, this is a main idea question. So let's go to the next one. Again, read the statement or passage and choose the best answer. It is said that a smile is universally understood, and nothing triggers a smile more universally than a taste of sugar. Nearly everyone loves sugar. Infant studies indicate that humans are born with an innate love of sweets. Based on statistics, that's a hard word. A lot of people in Great Britain must be smiling because on average, every man, woman, and child in that country consumes 95 pounds of sugar each year. From this passage, it seems safe to conclude that the English, A, do not know that too much sugar is unhealthy, maybe, eat desserts at every meal, are fonder of sweets than most people, D, have more cavities than any other people. Now, this is not a main idea type question, and we're gonna have to look into the question to find out what it actually means. Now, what are some things that might confuse you? Universally, do you know what universally means? Do you know what it indicate innate? And then let me look at some other hard words. I think those are two words that might trip you up. And why, if you don't understand those two words, you might miss this question. Universally, universe, big. Innate is actually a word that means that's with us since when infant studies. So since the time when we are very little, innate means basically since we are little, or it's inbred into us. It's part of who we are. So now that we know that, do you think this passage, it is safe to conclude that the English do not know that too much sugar is unhealthy? No, it's talking about people liking sugar. Eat desserts at every meal. I don't think that's what it was talking about. They eat a lot of it, but they didn't see that they eat sweets at every meal. Are fonder of sweets than most people. Well, it does say that every man, woman, and child in that country eat 95 pounds of sugar. So, I think that's a possibility. Have more cavities than any other people. The Brits have kind of funny teeth, but I don't think that's it. So, yeah, let's see what the correct answer is. I was right. Are fonder of sweets than most people. So again, based on that, every man, woman, and child. And this is an inference question. So let's move to sentence relationships. These questions present two sentences followed by a question about the relationship. You may be asked if the statement is in the second sentence supports that in the first, if it contradicts that in the first, or if it repeats the same information as that in the first. So we'll have two questions here. For the questions that follow, two underlined sentences are followed by a question or statement. Read the sentences, then choose the best answer to the question or the best completion to the statement. The Midwest is experiencing its worst drought in 15 years. Corn and soybean prices are expected to be high this year. What does the second sentence do? A. It relates the idea found in the first. B. It states an effect. C. It gives an example. D. It analyzes the statement made in the first. Ooh, this is so confusing. What does the second sentence do? So we're looking at this second sentence, which is right here. The Midwest is experiencing its worst drought in 15 years. Corn and soybean prices are expected to be very high. It restates. I think I said relates. It restates the main idea. No, because if the second sentence restated it, it would say, "Man, it's a bad drought." But it says corn and soybean prices are expected to be high. It states an effect. Cause and effect. There's a drought. I think the effect is that corn and soybean prices might be high. I think that's it. It gives an example. An example of the first sentence might be the Midwest experiences its worst drought in 15 years. An example, it is almost as bad as the drought in the Oklahoma Dust Bowl. That's not an effect. It gives an example. The Oklahoma Dust Bowl would be an example of the drought. So I don't think it's that. It analyzes the statement made in the first. No, it doesn't analyze. Analyzing would be like, oh, so many years of this will result in a catastrophic drought or something like that. So I think it's B. It states in effect. So let's see if I'm right. I am. Oh man, I must have had the answers way before. Let's look at the next one. Again, same exact question, but I mean, beginning for the questions that follow, blah, blah, blah. But let's look at this. Social studies classes focused on the complexity of our social environment. The subject combines the study of history and the social sciences and promotes skill in citizenship. How does the what does the second sentence do? A, it expands on the first sentence. B, it makes a contrast. C, it proposes a solution. D, it states an effect. So let's look. I'm a little bit confused, and I'm actually literally taking these one at a time with you. So social studies classes focus on the complexity of our social environment. The subject combines the study of history, the social sciences, and promotes skill in citizenship. I think it might, expands on the first. I think it's an expansion, meaning it's adding to. I know a little bit more about social studies based on the subject combines the study of history and social sciences. So I know a little bit more about it. So that's called expanding. It makes a contrast. I don't think it contrasts. Contrast would be like, darkness and light. It would be something that's opposite. So, no, I don't think it's a contrast. It proposes a solution. What solution is given here? It doesn't. Social studies is this, and there's no problem, so we don't need a solution. It states an effect. There is no effect because it's just about social studies. So it's clearly A, it expands on the first sentence. Let's see if I'm right. So it does expand on the first sentence. So those are going to be some of the questions that you experience for the reading comprehension portion of the test. And they're literally, well, I don't think, I know that they will literally be like that on the test. So how are you able to make guesses? How are you able to look at main ideas? And how do sentences relate to one another?